Hello everyone, I'm Julie, and in today's video we are talking about the top design ideas to steal from 5-star hotels. Inspiration is the key here, so the goal from today's video is to help you bring the high-end look home no matter what your budget or style. Travel is one of my favorite ways to get inspired when it comes to interior design and decoration. My parents have a love of travel and instilled that drive in me from a very young age. I've traveled everywhere from Japan to Amsterdam, Spain, France, Italy, Caribbean, the list goes on and on. Every time I travel, my world cracks open to invite different cultures, different colors, a kaleidoscope of different design ideas to bring back and adopt into my humble abode. So if you love to travel and want to make your space feel like a luxurious 5-star hotel, this video is for you. Thank you to EUFY S1 Pro for sponsoring a portion of this video. I just want to preface this video with the fact that you do not have to travel far to find creative ideas for you to bring into your own space. If you're stuck in a design rut and you just want to find inspiration that is away from the confines of your phone, you can literally go to your neighborhood coffee shop and see how they mix in different finishes that can inspire the design of your new kitchen. Or even visit your local shopping mall and check out your favorite luxury retailers to get color palette ideas, closet organization tips, or even to see what types of furniture they use in their space. These are all free sources of inspiration. Just want to tell you a little bit of my backstory. My love for design had humble beginnings and got super bougie once I was recruited to design 4- and 5-star hotel resorts all over the world. That was my first job fresh out of college. To design luxury hotels. It sounded like a dream job, but once the recession hit, that's when I started my own company. But I always had that love for luxury hotel design in the back of my head. While I was working for the design firm, I helped design the Mandarin Oriental in New York City, the W Hotel in Scottsdale, Park Hyatt in Tokyo, Japan, and even the Langham in Shanghai. Now, remember, I'm like a 20-something-year-old graduate. Would I ever have the means to ever go and visit any of these hotels that I designed? Never. It wasn't until years later that I got to visit the Langham in Shanghai, and just walking through this space, especially seeing something that you designed, seeing something that you drew out in paper come to fruition in real life, it was just a dream come true. I literally am like having chills and total flashbacks of everything we designed, from these columns to the restaurant to the lobby. Insane. My team and I scoured the web to bring you our top 4 favorite 5-star hotel resorts all over the world to help you steal the design looks and adopt in your own space. Starting with Aman in New York City. Aman Hotels was designed by Jean-Michel Gathy, the founder and principal of Denison Architects. Denison is an architectural planning, landscaping, and interior design firm that has designed many other iconic hotels and resorts, including the Four Seasons Hotel in Bangkok and Tokyo, and the one and only resorts in Montenegro and Dubai. As I was reading the backstory behind the building, I came across some really cool beginnings. It was built in 1921 during the start of the Roaring Twenties. Business leader and philanthropist August Heckscher acquired the site in 1913, and in 1919 he commissioned Warren and Wetmore, the iconic architects of Grand Central Station, to bring his vision of a cathedral of commerce to life. This iconic building features a copper-clad tower. The new Heckscher building, as it was named, rose from a podium-like base with neoclassical facade and French Renaissance detailing. Considered one of the finest examples of Beaux-Arts architecture ever built in the US, the building is home to MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art. In the early 1980s, it was renamed the Crown Building as lighting designer Douglas Lee was commissioned to gild the ornamental facade, for which he used 30 gallons of liquid gold. The glam girl in me is beaming at this point, guys. In 2015, almost exactly 100 years after August bought the property, the building was acquired by Vlad Doranin, chairman and CEO of Aman Resort, representing the beginning of a new chapter. They began restoration in 2017, and the Aman New York welcomed their first guest in August 2022. Aman's lead designer has said that the aesthetic is all about balance, peacefulness, with a sense of drama. He also emphasizes the importance of blending into the environment, so it's less about the building and more about the sense of place. I really want you to think about those key words that drive behind the design. We've got peaceful, balanced, serene, maybe with a touch of drama. Anytime you're designing a space, especially for your personal home, I always want you to think about a mood, a feeling. What is the feeling that you're trying to elicit? For me, it's so much easier to start with these key words that help you drive the design versus going out there and shopping blindly for furniture, finishes, or materials. If you have these driving keywords in mind, everything that you choose just needs to elicit that emotion, and then you're on the right track. So now let's take a look at Aman's hotel design and dissect all of the details that we can steal from this luxury hotel. So we are diving right into the guest rooms, and upon first glance, this is luxury at its finest. You'll notice with a lot of these luxury luxury hotels, they like a very muted palette. For me, anytime that you see a room that's kind of tone on tone, there's not a whole lot of contrast, there's just really soft colors, a soft palette, maybe anchored with really sophisticated touches of wood or black. You've got like a cream on cream palette, really light natural woods that feels very serene, really peaceful. Now, if this is the vibe that you're after, here are some key design details that you can steal for your own bedroom right now. I love a low platform bed. At the end of the day, I just want to fall back into something that's just really low, loungy, and cushy. If you want a space to feel softer and more inviting, think more curves, less angles. Notice the end of bed bench. The end of bed bench looks like a storage bench. Always think about multifunctional pieces that serve double duty. If you have a bench to sit on, great. How about it opens up and stores like your throws, your pillows? Notice a mix of finishes in this space. Even though you have paint on the walls, the finishes are further punctuated by a contrast in texture. You've got solid walls, you have this really beautiful paneling that's behind the board, but you can go one step further and even install a three-dimensional type of quality and a wow factor behind the bed. If you follow feng shui guides against anything that resembles a poison arrow. Even though I wouldn't put a folding screen on the back of my bed, a folding screen could also be really beautiful for, let's say, the living room. If you're trying to conceal maybe like a radiator or something that's just unsightly. You can also think about removing the hinges of like a 4 or 5 panel screen and just treat it as a backdrop. You can install it just as is in the back of your bed and create this really beautiful mural. You can also take them apart and use it as wall art. They echo this really soft, serene color palette from the guest rooms to the common areas, even reception and the lobby. If you want the space to feel more cohesive, I would start with a color palette. The color palette could be like 3 or 4 driving colors in which you can change the tint or the shade. If we're taking a look at this guest room, I mean, this seems like the presidential suite because they have a dining room in here, they have a seating area, but I love this vibe. I mean, it has a very Zen-like wabi-sabi appeal. In the dining area, always think about investing more in the dining chairs than you do the dining table. Just think about it. You sit in a dining chair daily, right? The dining chair gets a lot of use. It needs to be a solid piece of furniture. It needs to be comfortable. It needs to be scaled proportionally for the space. I mean, you sit in the chair just like how I'm sitting in this chair right now. It needs to be super comfortable as opposed to the table where you're kind of just seated at the table. So I would spend less on the table and more on the dining chairs. These dining chairs look so comfortable. I mean, it kind of has this like scooped curved arm effect. You're almost enveloped in this chair. So I can tell that the style and shape is really comfortable, especially if you plan on having long dinner parties. I love how the design of these living spaces really emphasize the importance of a conversational seating group. So you'll see that there is a long loungy sofa here, and opposite the long loungy sofa is a focal point. It looks like there's a television on top of a fireplace. I mean, you know how I hate that, but it's okay. This is just a luxury hotel resort. It's a short-term stay. But I want you to also notice that they have lounge chairs that are facing this sofa. You can have guests sitting in the sofa. You can also have people sitting in the lounge chairs, and then all of a sudden you have created a conversational seating group. That is the purpose and the point of a living room if you're not primarily using it just to watch TV. One of the other design details that I love from this room is the contrast in color. We're still using that same color palette of all tonal colors, but I love how there's just a pop of pattern in here. I love that tessellated finish on the coffee tables, but that punch of pattern kind of breaks up the monotony of all tonal colors. Don't just think about the guest rooms when you're borrowing design ideas from 5-star hotels. This is a peek into the restaurant design that they have on site. I love the finishing here. I can see the same stacked stone cladding a bathroom wall, even a fireplace or hearth. I love how having a really textured and dynamic backdrop allows you to put really simple finishing in front of it. Look at this pendant light. This pendant light on its own looks really basic, but against this really beautiful natural stone backdrop, all of a sudden that pendant becomes a key player into emphasizing the beauty of the natural stone. What do you think of Aman New York? Are you into the Zen vibes? I mean, is this something that you can see in your own space? So even though I know that I can't afford a lot of these luxury escapes, I can't afford to bring all of these high-end finishes home to my own house, it doesn't mean that I can't be inspired by all of the incredible designs out there, from hotels to resorts, restaurant designs, retail designs, even really innovative products like the EUFY S1 Pro. Thank you to EUFY S1 Pro for sponsoring a portion of today's video. The EUFY S1 Pro is the world's first floor washing robot vacuum with an all-in-one station and real-time self-cleaning. Pioneering the industry with with this dual water tank design, the added dirty water tank collects debris from the mop, while the clean water tank continuously cleans the mop, ensuring its cleanliness during mopping, preventing cross-contamination. The S1 Pro uses an innovative roller mop that cleans the floor while cleaning itself in action. It's also environmentally friendly since the S1 Pro uses just 3 liters of water and can clean a larger area of 450 square meters before returning to its base to clean and charge. When the S1 Pro detects a carpet in its navigated path, the auto retraction ability conceals the mop within the robot body, ensuring that the carpets remain dry. Ozone water is injected into the mop water tank inside the floor sweeper when it returns to the base station for water replenishment. This feature is especially useful for cleaning the mop and washing the floor. It also significantly improves indoor air quality. EUFY's S1 Pro is sleek and chic, resembling a futuristic design that vibrates against my new traditionalist aesthetic. The square-shaped design of the vacuum ensures optimal cleaning of every corner and can pivot 90 degrees during lateral movements to easily navigate under beds, sofas, and hard-to-reach places. It has a see-through water tank that allows for maximum visibility. I know exactly when I need to switch the water out with a single glance. This ergonomic charging station is designed at the optimal height, which means it allows users to operate it without bending over, providing a much more comfortable user experience. The S1 Pro can perceive 300,000 stereo pixels, enabling more precise obstacle detection so it can avoid socks, cables, and those tiny little toys scattered in the playroom. It can measure object distances without the need to turn on the light or to operate it only during the daytime. It saves me time and energy, which is exactly what I'm looking for when investing in a new appliance for my home. Thank you to EUFY for sponsoring a portion of this video. Click the link in the description box to learn more about EUFY's S1 Pro and receive a special discount code. Up next, we're headed to the Shangri-La Hotel in Singapore. Singapore is high on my hit list. Even before watching Crazy Rich Asians, I'm like, I need to get myself to Singapore, and here's why. Designed by the Khuu Group in 1971, the Shangri-La Hotel Singapore was the first luxury hotel in Singapore and paved the way for a new standard in Asian hospitality in the region. The hotel has 792 guest rooms and suites, as well as luxury apartments. Nestled near Orchard Road, Shangri-La Singapore garners accolades for its immaculate rooms, top-notch guest services, and enchanting hotel grounds. The Garden Wing, designed by WATG, aims to elevate the guest experience by providing a tranquil oasis surrounded by lush tropical gardens. The challenge of this hotel design was to design an extension that harmonized with the existing hotel while fostering a connection to nature. This iconic addition features a terrace facade adorned with cascading plants, creating a striking visual welcome for guests. The balconies are lined with verdant foliage, offering a secluded retreat where guests could unwind and immerse themselves in the serene ambiance. I feel like the guest rooms don't have that same luxurious feeling as the exterior, but we're still going to dissect this because I also feel as though this is how most people live. If you look at this guest room, their Tower Wing Deluxe room, it's a very, very basic. I come from hospitality design, so I love white bedding. I don't think there's anything that feels crisper and more luxurious than just clean white bedding. I also understand that hotels use white bedding so they can bleach it in between stays, but you know, that doesn't bother me. I kind of just like a really clean, chic hotel look. One of my best designer tips for working with white bedding is to use it just as a foundation to build and layer your bed. So you'll have your basic pillows, your basic sheets, and a duvet cover. But you could also add really strategic, colorful, decorative pillows. You could add a really cute quilt at the end, even a coverlet. Just think about the color palette that you vibe with and changing out some of those key details every time the season changes. It's so easy for you to swap out pillows, accessories, even artwork as the season changes. Look at the artwork that's kind of above this bed. This looks like a DIY lover's dream. I feel like I could make this in less than 15 minutes, and if they have it in the Shangri-La Hotel, this looks like a really high premium piece of art. What do you think? We're still in the same room, and I love this little window niche. I think a lot of people have these really awkward spaces in their own home. Maybe you have these really beautiful windows, but it's like a tight little corner. I mean, what do you even put in there? I love this design idea. It's so simple and it's so functional. Just find a really cute loungy chair, like a single accent chair, and plop a little side table beside it. You could create the perfect reading corner, a place for you to phone bang and catch up on your social media, even a really quiet place for you to have coffee in the morning. I call these quiet moments in design pockets of joy. I'm always thinking about creating pockets of joy for not only every family member in the home, but also for every single corner of every room. We're moving on to the Junior Suites kitchenette. This almost looks like a really high-end studio apartment. I can kind of see this in LA too. Again, with that graphic artwork that's on the rear wall, this looks like something you could totally DIY. If you need a larger footprint for a dining area, you can always flank one end of a rectangular table against the wall. What this does is it opens up the other side for you to create a larger path of egress. You have more space to walk back and forth. You can also even tuck in a fifth chair for guests. Besides aesthetics, the functionality of your space is the priority here. If the design doesn't function well, it's a total flop. So here we have the grand suites living room. I'm not really impressed with this room. I mean, it looks really old-fashioned. It almost feels like they have the same furniture that they did when they opened the hotel, which, I mean, it says a lot about luxury design, right? I just think it's such a mishmash of disparate items that doesn't feel cohesive to me at all. You've got this glass coffee table, a glass side table, a bunch of little accent tables in all different shapes that don't really vibe at all. Do you feel the same way, or is it just me? It's almost as if they had like a bunch of furniture that they kind of just threw into one room and tried to make it look cohesive. I know that a lot of us have the same condition. We might be decorating with hand-me-downs. We might have gone thrifting for secondhand furniture. We kind of just threw something in the space as filler furniture until we find something that's perfect for our design. For a luxury 5-star hotel, this living room totally missed the mark for me. And I get it. I mean, you've got window walls lining this entire suite. Nobody's looking at the furniture. Everyone's looking at what's happening outside. Okay, here we go. We have got this really luxurious grand suite bedroom. I love what they did with the ceiling here. If you have a tray ceiling that's currently in your bedroom right now, that means that there is a recessed portion of the ceiling. It could be rectangular in shape as it is in this room. It could be like a round rotunda. No matter what it is, think about calling more attention to this design detail and lining it with wallpaper. They use gilded wallpaper here. If gold is not your thing, you can also think about pattern wallpaper. If wallpaper is not your thing, you can even paint it a contrasting color from the walls to drive even more attention to the ceiling. So if you want to put your designer's hat on, never neglect the ceiling. Moving on to the bathroom, it's just white on white on white. I know white feels like very pure, it's bright, it's clean, but it also could look really sterile and boring. One of the key designer tips to take away from this white on white bathroom is just think about contrast. Some of the mixed metal finishes in this space are the matte black that's on the mirror. It's also lining the frame of the vanity console, but you don't have to use the same matte black for your sink fixtures. They are using chrome here, so I love that you have a mix of matte finishes against something that's really shiny and luxurious. Here's one of my favorite aspects of the Shangri-La Hotel guest rooms, which is why I wanted to feature in this video. It is all of the themed family rooms. I have young kids right now, so all I'm thinking is what type of designs cater to my kids, and I love these really cute family rooms. This one has like a safari theme. This one has a spaceship theme, but even when you take out all of these like kind of themed wallpaper, the themed bed, the space still feels luxurious. That's how I kind of want my home to feel. Even though the kids are young right now, they're gonna grow very fast, and then I'm not gonna have this kaleidoscope of colors anymore. What can I use in my space right now that not only caters to the kids, but also is not permanent, something temporary that I could swap out in the future? Look at this castle room. This is so cute. The colors might be a little bit garish for something that I want to live with every day, but for a playroom, it totally makes sense, and it's so cute. As we travel through all the different guest rooms, I mean, I'm seeing a theme here. Number one, they really didn't consider the renovation and the upgrades of all of these interior guest rooms. There's over 700 guest rooms to address. They're probably doing this in phases. So maybe one tower renovated at one time and then another tower at another time. So you can see the discrepancies in design from room to room. I don't think a cohesive design statement was what they're going for here. What do you think of the Shangri-La in Singapore? Does this scream luxury to you? We are taking you back to the States and headed to the Wynn Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. The Wynn Hotel is located in Las Vegas, right on the Strip, led by designer Todd Avery Lenahan, President and Chief Creative Officer of Wynn Design and Development. Wynn sold his company, Mirage Resorts, and purchased the desert resort in 2000 as a birthday present for his wife, Elaine. He opened the resort in 2005 with nearly 3,000 rooms and a whopping 111 square feet of casino space. The Wynn Hotel Resort and Casino is one of my favorite places to stay at every time we go to Las Vegas. Back in my heyday, I was a party girl. If you live in Southern California, I mean, Las Vegas is a hop, skip, and a jump away. So you'll know that everyone who kind of parties here in LA always jump to Las Vegas for the scene. Wynn sought out to make the resort feel small and intimate despite it covering millions of square footage. footage. Natural lighting is emphasized throughout the casino and restaurant areas. You'll notice the color red is also permeated throughout the resort, symbolizing the lucky color in Asian culture. The hotel tower skips multiple floors, which Asian gamblers deem as unlucky. Much like how Western hotel elevators skip the 13th floor, it's the same idea. So superstitions aside, smart designers know that you always understand your client before you need to understand the parameters of the project. Wynn Hotel's interior designs highlight an eclectic yet serene escapist theme with soft sunset hues mixed with subtle hints of gold. The entrance features glittering chandeliers, koi ponds, and lush indoor gardens. With added textured drapery, artwork, and wall coverings, Wynn suites were designed to feel dramatic and sophisticated as well as intimate. Now let's dive right into the design. When I first stayed at the Wynn hotels in my 20s, I was like, wow. It just looked like nothing else on the strip. It was bold, it was glamorous, it was eclectic, kind of like everything my heart was after. Even though red is the dominant color from the casino to the lobby and the common areas, they filtered it down once we got to the guest rooms. You'll even notice that red almost acts as a neutral in this case. We've got red to anchor accent chairs, you have some strategic red artwork, everything else feels really tonal and very sophisticated. Again, with those teeny tiny seating groups, we always want to aim to create a conversational seating area anytime you're designing a living space, whether large or small. In the smaller living area, you've got this cute little love seat. This is perfect for 2 people, and flanking the love seat is a chair. If this accent chair swiveled, it would be such a great design detail so that you could view not only the living area side, but also the bedroom area or an adjacent area if you're nearby a dining room. I love that they've also plopped in this little dining table that could be used not only as a desk, but to dine on, or even just an area for you to lay out paperwork. You always want to think about furniture that serves double duty. If you have a dining table, why not use that as a makeshift work from home office? Eclectic is the name of the game here. You look at all of these furnishings and it almost looks like they wouldn't even go together. But I also love that they stuck with a very cohesive color palette. When you have a mix of furnishings and different design styles, having a very similar color palette will tie everything in together. The guest rooms are really simple. There's not a whole lot of adornment going on, and I kind of like that for a bedroom. Even though I like a dark and cavernous space, like I love the wood paneling on the walls, notice the art that they have in the space. The artwork can still be tone on tone, but just think about texture, think about dimension. How are you going to create a luxurious feel with tonal artwork? On the flip side, if you have a predominantly monochromatic space, think about anchoring really key areas with graphic artwork or a splash of color. This will break up the monotony of a tonal color palette and add some vibrance to the space. I love this little dining area with this cute little custom settee. I have a sofa combined with dining chairs in my dining room, and everyone says the sofa is their favorite seat in the entire space. It's comfortable, it's cushy, it's completely upholstered, so you can literally lean back for long hours at the dining table, which is what my guests love. So if you're short on space, or if you have like a cute little corner dining room, think about customizing an upholstered banquette or a settee. You'll notice with Wynn Hotels designs that they barely use painted drywall. I mean, I don't see one surface that is not finished and adorned in this space. A lot of people have reservations about applying specialty techniques to the walls, either with wall covering or wood paneling, but let me just remind you that none of these finishes need to be permanent. There are so many temporary solutions out there, from peel and stick, especially if you're a renter, to paneling that you can just apply with double stick mounted tape. If you want to dabble in applied finishing or textured finishing, always think the temporary route. The Wynn Hotel looks so different from when it opened in 2005. I feel like they're trying to modernize it a little bit more, but to me now it almost feels like just any other hotel on the block. It used to be so lively, so eclectic, so full of color, and now that they're going kind of the more tone-on-tone monochromatic route, I just don't think it feels as special. What do you think of the Wynn Hotel's design? Is this something that you can see for your own home? And finally, we are headed down south to Campos Polanco in Mexico City. Mexico City is really high on my design hit list right now. There are so many incredible designs and architecture firms that are coming out of Mexico City, and Campos Polanco is at the top of my hit list. All Architectura revitalized a 1940s abandoned building in a luxury social house named Campos Polanco, situated in the heart of Campos Elíseos, one of the most exclusive streets in Mexico City. The designers honored the original pan coupe style by restoring the facade and using materials like brass, solid woods, and stone, complemented with plants to create a chic historical ambiance. The renovation preserved 12 suites, the lobby, a library bar, and common areas. An additional space for administrative functions was added, connected by a central patio and rooftop, blending Art Deco and and contemporary elements, including a 1940s spiral staircase. Campos Polanco's 12 unique residences are each meticulously crafted to embody a blend of historical charm and contemporary luxury. Designed by Aman G, every suite offers distinctive features such as expansive floor-to-ceiling windows with park vistas, spacious bedrooms with king-size beds, bathrooms equipped with dual showers and separate tubs, cozy living areas with fireplaces, work desks, and convenient kitchenettes. The property fosters an atmosphere of bespoke comfort, allowing guests to seamlessly settle into their private accommodations. Of all of the luxury hotels that we featured in today's video, Campos Polanco is like exactly what I want my home to look like. It's so beautiful. It's beautiful, it's eclectic, it's earthy, it's organic. I mean, there's loads of color. There's so much to look at. Let's start by dissecting some of the design details that I'm just obsessed with. Look at this stairwell. Oh my gosh. I mean, from the fluted wood paneling to the raw concrete to the mix of terrazzo on the floors. Some of these finishes is not something that I would put in my own home. Well, especially because they're pricey. But other than that, it's just like so unique. I feel like this blend of finishes is just so high end. It's just raw finishes. I mean, is wood expensive? No. Is concrete expensive? Totally not. Terrazzo, you can really just mix and make yourself. But combined together in this space, it just feels so eclectic and just so high design. Let's talk about the bathrooms. I love me some deco design, and this just totally hits that mark. You have the black and white detailing that's lining the shower and behind the tub. This is a cohesive color palette right here. You got black, you got white, you got brass. It's so easy to blend in other finishes seamlessly. If you really dissect the bathroom, there's not a whole lot going on, but you're kind of like hit in the face with this really dramatic floor. I love that. If you fall in love with a pattern or a color, you don't have to put it everywhere. Just think of one strategic place to apply that pattern or that color, and then all of a sudden it becomes this really huge wow factor. I feel like this is the next wave for lime washing techniques. Now you're color blocking lime wash. This could be lime wash, it could be Roman clay, it could be that glazed design that I showed you last week in my guest bedroom makeover. I love this paint technique. This doesn't even look like it has high ceilings. This almost looks like just standard 8 feet ceilings that you're breaking up in half. So it's cool, it's fresh, it's dynamic, and it's even further punctuated and elevated by personal artwork. Here's a great example of how to use an area rug. Remember that area rugs just need to define the area. Area rugs could be used as something softer underfoot. It could be used to anchor your seating group. So in this case, if you have a really large room and you want to create a really special intimate moment, let's say with a pair of club chairs and a really simple coffee table and a functional light overhead, this is how you do it. Start by anchoring the area rug underneath it, and then all of a sudden it feels like a very intentional design statement. This is a really beautiful way to borrow that eclectic retro design into your own space. Even the old world glamour of like the paneled walls with this little art deco detailing, I love this. You have that same detailing that was echoed from the bathrooms into the paneling on these walls. So anytime you see that punch of pattern that you love, you could place it at different areas in the home. The greens, the coppers, the wood finishing, that raw concrete, again, this is so chic. Notice the use of a lot of arches and curves in this space. When you don't want to bump into angled corners and those like 90-degree edges, always think about soft, sinuous curves. Curved furniture, sexy curves, I love that. Round tables, like everything feels like you can kind of weave in and around it without hurting yourself. The designers definitely have a love of organic materials here. A lot of it is in its raw forms. You've got raw brick, you have raw concrete, you have raw wood. It feels organic, but really fresh and vibrant at the same time, especially with the color palette that they used. When you head into the individual guest rooms, you're surprised by the pop of patterns behind the bed. I love how they use a mix of wall covering in this space. Graphic wall covering is one of those things where like you either love it or you hate it. What I don't love is like high contrast, too graphic, especially for my own bedroom. But for a common area or the kids' room, this could totally vibe. That's it for today's video, everyone. What did you think of design ideas to steal from 5-star hotels? Which of these 5-star hotels do you think most closely mirrors your own personal aesthetic? For me, I mean, it's probably a cross between between the Wynn hotels and casinos. I mean, the lobby areas, not the guest rooms, and the Campos Polanco's guest rooms. I love color, I love pattern, I love a mix of finishes, I love texture, I love dimension. I am a maximalist, clearly. Did you check out the new artwork that we have in our studio? I just put that up last week, even though I've had it for a minute now. If you're starting from scratch and you're trying to figure out, like, where do I even get inspired? Just get out there. See what the world has to offer. You can be inspired by your travels, by culture, by your neighborhood coffee shop, by a beautiful piece of artwork that you just picked up at the thrift store. Remember that inspiration is the key here, and you don't have to travel far to get inspired. If you love this type of video and you want more luxury but budget design tips, please give this video a like and a thumbs up. Click that little notification bell to be notified of new videos that we drop on the channel every single Thursday. Comment below and let me know, what was your favorite hotel that we featured in today's video? Should we turn today's episode into a full-blown series? There are so many more hotels that I wanted to share with you, but for the sake of time, I had to whittle it down to 4. But I feel like there's so much more I want to share. Share this video with anyone you know who's looking for inspired hotel designs, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you next week.